The town of Znojmo lays to the south of Brno, and it's not a place I've ever really visited, except to go to a rather horrible shopping mall on the border with Austria, because Znojmo is close to the border with Austria. So last weekend I decided to go there and try to see if there are any lines. To my utter amazement, I discovered Znojmo to be a beautiful little town. I'd never visited this part of the town at all, and after walking around the city centre, I did discover a Type 4 pair of lines passing through the town. But that was after I stopped in this beautiful little restaurant for lunch by the St. Nicholas Church, and magnificent food and drink was to be had there. It was called Mikuláš, Nicholas, after the church, I assume, that was nearby. Now, Znojmo lies on the river Dia, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And up on the hill is the castle and some of the older parts of town, including this chapel called St. Václav Chapel. The chapel lies on the negative or female current of the Type 4 line. Now, Znojmo was founded shortly before 1226 and is quite ancient, but the castle is actually older. The historic town centre is well preserved and is protected as an urban monument reservation. As you can see, there are some wonderful views afforded from this chapel of St. Václav, of the river, the nearby castle, and indeed the national park bordering Austria. It was only in this area that I discovered the Type 4 alignment, and the reason for that was because I went straight to the Church of St. Nicholas, and walking around the church, I realised immediately that the church was a node. In fact, I could hear the buzzing sound of the node even 50 metres away from the church. St. Nicholas's Church was originally founded by the Prince of Znojmo Leopold in 1106. However, in 1335, a large part of the town, including the church, was burned down, and this particular church was built 3 years later by Charles IV. There's quite a lot of interesting artwork and religious iconography in the church, but the main thing for me was the energies, which were amazing.
Can you hear the note? Can you hear it? I can. Very high-pitched buzzing sound. And the energy's amazing. Yeah.
Walking around the church, I was able to track the positive male and negative female lines going in and out of the church and crossing somewhere in front of the altar to form a considerable node. From there, my intention was to track the line through the city, but unfortunately I ran out of time and was very distracted by the rotunda, which we'll see in a moment. My next point of call was the castle just nearby. The castle was built in the second half of the 11th century, but the actual location is a very ancient place going back 4,000 years and was probably a pagan cult location, and I like to think that's because of the node nearby. Part of the original castle is this Rotunda of St. Catherine, which is famous for the artwork inside of it, which is kept at a specific climate temperature to protect it.
So here we have another tower with a female line running through it. And in other places where a tower like this has had a female line running through it, the line's energy has been amplified and it takes on almost a node-like quality. Unfortunately, the tower is closed and I can't access it, so I can't tell you if that's the case with this one, but I would bet any money it is.
In fact, during my exploration of the castle grounds, I happened upon the opportunity to visit the rotunda at a cost of 150 crowns for a short tour, and that's exactly what I did. So in the end, I did get inside, but in the interim, I had a good look around the castle grounds, and quite a nice place it is, and probably well worth a visit. But I was more interested in the rotunda, because these kinds of towers, I have discovered in this part of the world, often act as tremendous energy centres, especially if they have a negative or female line passing through them, and this one did. So with some excitement, after admiring the scenery from the castle, I managed to get inside the rotunda, but no video or photographs were allowed, unfortunately.
So I went on the tour and got in the rotunda, more details of which below, but I can confirm, they wouldn't let me film, but I can confirm the energy in there was absolutely off scale, amazing.
So after visiting the rotunda and the castle, I actually didn't have much time of my day left. I did manage to track the lines across the old square, but beyond that I probably need to go back and do Znojmo some justice. I hadn't expected to find anything of interest here, quite frankly, and I was very surprised at what I did find, and therefore I do need to go back, and I will take you with me, so please do subscribe.